Hello everybody, this is Really Crucial here, and thank you for tuning into this video. Today I will be discussing on knee pads, 2 exotics and 2 named. If you like the video, please give a thumbs up, and if you don't like the video, please give it a thumbs down. And as always, I always appreciate your feedback and want to know on your build, so please give a comment. I would love to look at your feedback, and we could discuss from there. So let's continue. So it's going to be 2 exotic knee pads, and also as well 2 named knee pads I will be going over. Now this clip that you're seeing currently right now, as you see, I'm being staggered with explosion. No, not really. Okay, so one of them that I'm going over is the Sawyer knee pads. It's a pretty good knee pads. I would say far underrated, but if you play it right, it will actually be great. Unfortunately, I'm about to go a little bit crazy. So let's go over the knee pads real quick. So the name of the Sawyer Kneepads has the talent of stand your ground. What should happen is you cannot be staggered, and also it increases your total weapon damage by 3% each second that you're not moving. So as you recover, you can get up to 10 seconds. It stacks up to 10 times, and you get up to 30%. Now these knee pads does come in armor, explosive resistance, and health, depending on how your rolls are. These knee pads, they can be found in targeted loot, also as well. If you go for knee pads, or they could be in the open world, exotic caches, when you do your SHDs, sometimes when you do your legendaries, numerous ways you can get these. So as you can see right here, I'm standing in cover, and I'm doing a lot of damage, as you can see right here. Now, as soon as I start moving, all those stacks is going to disappear, and I have to refresh the start all over again. Watch and look. See, I'm moving. Now, as my stacks are starting to disappear on the bottom left, and then when those are gone, I start to refill it back up again, and you have to restart at 10. Now, there's numbers of ways that you could go around with this. You could craft around the build, but when playing with these knee pads, I like to say the best way to do it, you can do it all the way around from being close quarters to far back. But I like to use from my AR to rifles to marksman rifles, because the longer you do damage, the longer you stand there and cover, the more you do damage. As you can see right here, I'm using the chameleon, and also I'm using the baker's dozen. Just an opinion, it's not by fact, but I love using the baker's dozen on this because you're about to see this, the talents in a minute. It has a perfect lucky shot, and as long as I stay in cover, and if I miss, I will actually get it'll never consume the bullet. But once I do and it hits, it starts right there at this point. As you can see, a couple of shots over here when I about to get ready to use the baker's dozen. Watch, and you're gonna see that damage is still being increased as like I regained my my stacks. And look at the damage over here. Wow, that's from the sniper right there, headshot. And I'm switching right back to the baker's dozen. Wow, it hits. Now, people will say that the Overlord Fox's Prey knee pads hits harder, but believe it or not, if you go with the damage, it does hit harder when you're undercover. So I wouldn't recommend using these knee pads on PvP. Excuse me. But these knee pads are better on for PvE. And I'm finna go through the second exotic knee pads very shortly. And these are actually good for PvP. You can use it for PvE too, but it's more suggested on PvP. And that is going to be the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads. As you see this clip here. So as I'm running around, I'm going to start doing damage. And I love these knee pads, especially when you're in the dark zone, because when you hurdle or you in cover, you actually don't have to reload. It starts right there. I know some people will like to use it with the backfire, but I love using it with the chameleon, or of course, as you see right here, I love using it with the Lady Death. It goes perfect hand in hand. So with these knee pads, I would suggest that this would be more a close quarter, if like shotguns or SMGs, pistols. Excuse me. But I just love it, and I'm finna go over the talent over here in just a second. So here we go. So with the Ninja by Messenger knee pads, these are going to be enrolled in weapon damage, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. What the talent of parkour. Performing a cover to cover or vaulting reloads your drawn weapon and grants 25% bonus armor for 5 seconds. So this can be a lifesaver if you run an Intimidate or Perfect Intimidate with the Hunter Killer. And if you use Unstoppable Force, or a lot of people in a dark zone would like to use it with Adrenaline Rush because it grants that, and it grants as far as when you're close to the enemy. But I could also say as far as Intimidate is because when you get that bonus armor, you get that 35% damage, weapon damage, or I think it's up to the Hunter Killer, you get up to 40. So as you see the couple clips, I show one as far as I was vaulting, and this one you're gonna see me performing cover to cover moves, and I will actually get bonus armor back, and I'm actually using Intimidate on here, so you can actually see as far as like I will hit harder when I'm actually closer to enemy. See right there, bam, it's great. But yeah, I like using these knee pads more for PvP than for PvE. You can't use these for PvE, but I'm more suggesting on PvP because you're gonna be vaulting, and from time to time again you might go from undercover, but these are actually are a beat. So now the next knee pads I'm going to go over is the name Overlord Animates Fox of Prey knee pads. These knee pads, they usually roll in weapon damage and also has 8% damage to target out of cover, and the last one always rolls up different. So it could be critical chance, critical damage, armor regeneration. It can always roll on that. Now, the perfect example, I'll say these knee pads are better off being out of cover, only because when you're in cover, you're already going to lose that 8%. So as you can see here on this clip right here, I'm using the 8%. I'm using the Ravenous, and I'm in cover, so it really doesn't do much. Now, same weapon, I'm using the Ravenous, and I'm out of cover. As I'm switching, you can see the numbers right there. It's decreased more and more. So it all depends on how you have the rolls on there. Excuse me. How's the rolls on the knee pads? It goes great, but keep in mind as far as I would actually use these more also in the dark zone as well. Even though it does have 10% rifle damage, but unless if you're going to be out of cover, like using a shield, it really doesn't be that much of a factor if you're trying to stay in cover. And the last one I'm going to go over is the Murakami knee pads. And these are actually rolled in one skill tier, automatically 1% armor regeneration, and always the last talent, it always could be rolled off. But as you can see here, I rolled into armor. I rolled into 170 armor, so it's max armor, and I love using these as far as putting on a shield build. And I just say, if you don't, like I said in one of the previous videos I mentioned before, if you don't have these knee pads, you can actually get these knee pads. You can also use the Brimstone Armory as far as the replacement. Now, these knee pads right here, they will actually only be in Dark Zone exclusive. Every once in a while, you might see them in a name cash item when do it a season. But more likely, these either you go into the Dark Zone, they always have these in the Dark Zone vendors. And it'll always be that you have to pay attention first which week would be, just to look out for them. But also, if you see the Murakami's in the Dark Zone, you get these too. Now, as far as the Overlord Artemis and Frost Prayers, you can get these in the Dark Zone. You can't get them in the open world. As far as they have the Overlord on there, are knee pads. Also, as well, you can also get them as far as like if you were to play in the mission and have the Overlord ornaments as far as the name item, you could do that too. So those are all the knee pads I would suggest as far as if you don't have it in your inventory or your stash. I would collect and getting these because they all have advantages, disadvantages, but it all depends on your playstyle. So that concludes the video, guys. Hopefully this is very beneficial to all the newcomers into the game, and also as well as some who may be returning or just want to have a little bit more in it. Again, I would love to have your feedback. And again, I want also to give a shout out to Buzzlightbeer, RogueGold, and and Patrick Wolf, because I did get a little bit of the information as far as the Kneepads. Until again, this is really crucial. Sign off. Peace.